Do you find it difficult to come up with color combinations that work? Let me show you what I do. I let the professionals do the work. They're the ones who created this beautiful sweatshirt that I'm using for my inspiration today. I used my Distress Oxide swatch sheet to kind of figure out what colors matched that design. So I came up with milled lavender, seedless preserves, and broken china. So here's a tip. If you have problems ink blending, change your cardstock. Use a watercolor cardstock. That's what I personally find to be the best for giving a nice smooth ink blend. I'm starting out with milled lavender, which happens to be my lightest color in this color combination. And I do start onto my glass mat and work my ink in circular motions into the paper. I'm just going to go about a third of the way before I switch over to the next color. I really like bold, vivid colors. So in order to get that bold, vivid look, I put my fingers on top of the head of the brush so that I'm giving that section more pressure. If you prefer a lighter color, then just move your hand down towards the handle further away from the brush head. Now, if you prefer to ink blend using domed foam blenders or finger daubers, go for it. If you're ink blending 3 colors, I suggest going to your last color next, in this case, broken china. So I'm going to go ahead and do my ink blending up about a third of the way. And then I'm going to show you how to get a much smoother ink blend with your middle color. It's time to do that middle color, in this case, seedless preserves. This is a beautiful dark purple color that's going to blend beautifully with the milled lavender and the broken china. I do use a piece of Post-it note to keep my little mitts off of the milled lavender. And you'll see that I hit a dark spot. I caught the brush on the side of the cardstock and it created a little bit of a dark bubble there, but that's okay because I do blend dark. So I'm just going to keep working the ink until I get it the way I like it. Now that the tone is the way that I wanted it, I go ahead and go back to my broken china and add a little bit more ink to blend the two together. I'm bringing the broken china up into the seedless preserves. It's important to keep your workspace neat and clean so you don't put color where you don't want it. So after a little tidy up, I'm going to go back to my light milled lavender, and using my original brush, I'm going to bring the milled lavender up into the seedless preserves to soften that blend. Keep working your ink back and forth until you achieve the blend that you're happy with. This is a stunning blend that's reminiscent of the colors on that beautiful sweatshirt that I showed you earlier. Maybe you don't use Distress Oxides. Maybe you use a different type of medium altogether. How about watercolors? This is a very inexpensive watercolor. It's kind of a metallic-y pearl color, and all I did was use the same philosophy. I selected 3 similar colors, this light pink, a darker pink, and a blue. I do have to activate these watercolors with water prior to dipping my paintbrush in. So I just added a little bit of clear water with an eyedropper, and then I started up with a damp brush. I do have a little jar of clean water there, and I know it looks really light. It does darken up over time. Now, because the watercolors aren't like ink, they don't dry fairly quickly, I am just using a piece of paper towel to hold down my other section because the watercolor cardstock is curling up. Once I get enough color on the card, I'm going to go ahead and lay a heavy object on top of it while it dries so that it dries flatter. And I do use the same methodology of just going back and forth until I achieve the blend that I like. This does turn out to be a beautiful soft color combination of those 3 colors. And it is metallic, so it might not come out so well on camera, but it is very pretty indeed. And in comparison to the ink, it really does depend on the medium that you're using and the look that you're going for. Hey y'all, I'm Wendy from Village Card and Craft, and I want to thank you for choosing to spend your time with me today. The goal of my channel is to show you how to be inspired by the things that you love. For me, they're mostly all things Disney, as today's inspiration shows. I love that jersey. Color combinations tend to give people a really hard time. So in this case, I just let the professionals do their job. They've already created product that I love to buy. And well, why do I love to buy it? Because I love the colors. So I'm going to create that my own way. So that's what we did today. I created it in Distress Oxide and I created it in watercolor. Of course, they're 2 different mediums and 2 totally different looks. But how do I keep track of what I did? Let me show you. I've created a reference binder for my color combinations. This is nothing more than a 3-ring binder. This one happens to be 1 inch that I got on clearance last year for $1. So you can't beat that. I do keep my OXIDE sheets in here. These are my color swatch sheets. This one is done on Recollections card, so I know what color it stamps out on. And this side is done on Artist Loft watercolor card, which is a little bit more yellow. And then I also have my alcohol markers on this side. I keep all of my color combinations in these baseball card sheets. Now, I can never remember what size, so I actually figured it out, made myself a little cheat sheet. This will go in here. These are 3.5 by 2.5 inches, and I simply store this over here on the side. Once I have a color combination like today's that I love, I go ahead and I write the colors of my Distress Oxides on the back, and I slip it in. So when I'm wanting to choose a new color combination, I can go through my binder and figure out a color that I like. It has my color names on the back, and I just go pull those colors out of my boxes. Super simple, easy way to have a new reference library for my own color combinations. Now that I've shown you how I create some of my color combinations, I'd love for you to check out this playlist up here on a few other Distress Oxide color combos. Let me know in the comments below if you prefer the shorts format or a slightly longer format. Until next time, I'll see you real soon.